Hello and welcome back to MBA Monday. I'm Angela Guido, career coach, MBA coach, founder of MBA Protocol, and deep lover of AI. I'm here to tell you how I think, just one woman's opinion, of how AI is going to change the landscape of MBA admissions, potentially in the near and medium-term future. And regardless of whatever changes are coming, how you can use AI right now to be smarter and more effective on your MBA applications and not totally screw up your chances, which is a risk if you use AI in the wrong way. Let's talk about how the landscape of MBA admissions is probably going to change. It's been, at the time of making this video, it's been a little over a year since ChatGPT came on the scene and freaked everybody out with its awesomeness and how readily it is able to generate human-ish sounding content, even stuff that might seem kind of personal and specific. So in the early days, I spent hours and hours trying to get ChatGPT to generate solid MBA essays based on a few key inputs that were personal to, me before I was actually applying to business school. So I took, myself as a model candidate and I plugged in all that information and I tried to get it to generate solid essays that could be used at least as a first draft, if not even as a medium final draft. And I can tell you, based on dozens, if not hundreds, I didn't keep good track of time, but let me tell you, it was a lot of time. I'm one of the world's leading experts in MBA admissions, and I couldn't get the robot to generate an essay that was really gonna work as a finished draft. That has a lot of implications that I'm gonna talk to you about a little bit later in this video. But what it showed me is that in the old days, before this type of AI came on the scene, if you wanted to get a complete and solid first draft, you had to do it yourself, or, if you're unethical, you pay someone else to do it for you. And so the final drafts that people would submit, let's say 10 years ago, could have been, absolute and total crap. If they weren't working with a coach, if they didn't read the right things on the internet, if they didn't know what they were doing, if they procrastinated, they could have submitted essays that were just really off the mark. But now that we have AI, everyone should be able to submit at least an essay that rates a C on the comparison scale. So what this means is that the floor of quality for MBA admissions has risen. Now, it has had no effect on the high caliber, super high quality applications at the very top, but it has risen the baseline to now where everybody with a free ChatGPT account anywhere in the world can go and generate an MBA essay that's like not terrible. It's also not great, but it's not terrible. And so despite the fact that there are tools that can discern whether or not a robot wrote text or not, and schools will no doubt start using this if they haven't already, some schools have even come out and said that they don't mind if you use AI to help you draft part of your resume. There's going to be some changes coming to this space, and schools have always really cared about gauging the actual caliber of an applicant, and not just the caliber of the applicant, but the applicant's communication skills. Communication skills are critically important in your career. Anything that you want to do, anywhere, ever, requires communication skills. And that is especially true if you plan to be a leader, which of course, if you're applying to business school, has got to be on your roadmap. So schools need a way to accurately gauge how you communicate, how clear your reasoning is, how well you can express yourself, the emotional impression that you leave on people when you're communicating with them, either in writing or in video. And so I predict that in the coming years, we're going to see the essays and the importance that they play in the application shrink. Now that everybody can kind of half-ass it using a robot, they're going to diminish the importance of that piece of the application, and they're going to increase the importance on other components which may or may not be a part of the process right now. Things like videos, spontaneous videos, or even things like a live essay that you're forced to write live on the spot, like while a camera is recording you. They're going to find ways to evaluate your presence and communication skills, even though AI is making it harder and harder for them to do that even today. So that's just my prediction. I think the landscape of what constitutes a complete MBA application is going to change in the coming years, and we may see the essays disappear entirely. We'll see what happens. I hope not. I love the essays, but schools got to do what they got to do because they need to understand how you actually communicate, not just how good you are at using a robot. So given that what I said about what schools are looking for in your application, they're trying to gauge your communication skills. I'm here to tell you that there are several things you should not be using AI for under any circumstances as you are preparing your applications. And there are a couple things that you really should be using it for. Okay, so first let me tell you the things that you should under no circumstances use AI to do as you are compiling your very best MBA application. And that is, you should not ask it to write your essays for you. You should not ask it to edit your essays for you. You should not ask it to improve your grammar, reduce your word count. Really, anytime you are asking the robot to generate text or streamline or edit text that is meant to represent you and your voice, you've made a mistake. And again, this is from hundreds, dozens, definitely dozens, maybe hundreds of hours of trying to get ChatGPT to generate text that actually represents a person in an inspiring and authentic way, which, by the way, maybe goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Being authentic and inspiring in all of your communications to the admissions committee is essential. It's essential because they can take their pick of way more qualified applicants than they have space for. And your qualifications, your GMAT, all the things about you that comprise your profile are important, but they are not the thing that is gonna make the day. It's not the thing that's gonna drive the decision. They're gonna admit a human being that they really believe in, and the way they get to know a human being is through how they communicate. So your essays have to really come across in your own voice authentically and in an inspiring way, and the robot cannot do that. Even when you ask it to make something shorter, it will damage your voice in a very real way, and you just simply can't afford that. So please, please, please resist the temptation to use any kind of AI to generate the text or modify the text of your essays. What you should be doing, however, is using AI to shortcut your research process. In those hundreds of hours that I've spent with AI, I spent a lot of time engineering specific prompts that give a robot a chance to feed you robust, specific, and valuable information about MBA programs and how they relate to you and your goals, so that you can choose the right schools, shortcut 10 to 20 hours in the otherwise painful Googling process to get to know the school values, the curriculum, the aspects that suit your specific goals, your specific ambitions, your geographic preferences, your background, your community preferences, all of that. We've generated prompts that you can use to get all of those insights in 10 seconds. It's like copy paste, and you get a huge readout of information that will shortcut the research process for you, and you should absolutely be using AI to make your life easier. It can't be you. It can't enhance you, but it can simplify and cut out a lot of your busy work. By the way, if you want to know, if you want our prompts, if you want access to the resources that we use to help our clients shortcut the research process, you can grab our AI-powered school scouting toolkit down below and just have a heyday taking our prompts and feeding it into the robot so that you get all the rich research and information that you need to then go and build amazing MBA essays and prepare for amazing MBA interviews. But do not let AI take the place of that work of thinking through your experiences, learning how to communicate them in an inspiring way in writing and in speaking, and then really shining with your authentic voice in the foreground in every aspect of your MBA application. AI really can't help with that. It will only degrade the quality of the work that you submit if you use it on your essays in that regard. So don't do it. Instead, use it for research. It'll be interesting to see if this video is true, if my predictions come true, if the MBA application process changes in the coming years to adapt to this new technology that frankly makes AdCom's jobs harder. But hopefully it doesn't make your job harder, because if you do what I'm saying here, you will avoid the pitfall that at least 20 or 30% of applicants are gonna fall into. They're gonna think that AI can represent them in their essays, and therefore they're gonna submit C-grade essays. You have a chance to really shine as yourself if you avoid that temptation. I will see you here next week on MBA Monday. Have a great one. Bye. What you should avoid like the plague. Why? Why does it keep jumping off the table like that? Did it scare you this time? It did me too.